We often imagine that our reality is built on events, circumstances, and the things that happen around us. But the truth is, reality is less about what happens to you and more about how you choose to see it. Two people can walk through the exact same situation, but one sees a disaster while the other sees an opportunity. What makes the difference? It's not the situation itself. It's the perception, the lens through which the mind interprets what is happening. That is where the real power lies, and that is the secret many people overlook. Think about it for a moment. When you face a challenge, your perception determines whether you feel crushed under the weight of it or inspired to grow stronger because of it. If you believe that life is unfair, then every difficulty will confirm that belief and pull you down further. But if you believe that life is preparing you for something greater, then even the hardest moments become stepping stones towards that greatness. Nothing has actually changed in the outer world. What changed was the way you saw it, and because of that, everything feels different. There's an old saying, "We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are." This is powerful, because it means your inner state shapes the outer world you experience. A heart full of gratitude sees blessings everywhere. A mind stuck in negativity only sees problems, even in the midst of abundance. The same sunrise can feel like hope to one person and just another tiring day to someone else. And yet, the sun didn't change. It was the perception that shaped the reality. This is why the most life-changing shift you can make begins not with the world around you, but with the way you look at the world. If you wake up telling yourself, "Today is going to be a burden," your mind will find every reason to confirm it. But if you wake up telling yourself, "Today is an opportunity," suddenly your eyes open to chances you never noticed before. Perception is not just a mental trick, it is the key that unlocks either limitation or possibility. And this is not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. No, it's about understanding that even in pain, there is potential. Even in loss, there is wisdom. Even in failure, there is a lesson. When your perception looks for meaning rather than misery, your reality begins to transform. I want you to reflect on your own life for a moment. How many times have you looked back at something you thought was the worst thing that ever happened to you, only to realize later that it was guiding you towards something better? At that time, your perception could only see the pain, but later, your perception shifted, and suddenly the same event looked like a gift. That proves that perception is not fixed. You can train it, guide it, and allow it to serve you instead of hurt you. So, the secret hidden inside your mind is this: your perception is a mirror. Whatever you choose to believe, whatever lens you decide to wear, your world will reflect it back to you. If you want to change your reality, start by changing the way you see it. Shift the lens, and your entire life will take on a new meaning. And that is the beginning of the truth that will change your reality forever. Every single one of us carries invisible chains, and those chains are the limiting beliefs we've picked up along the way. These beliefs whisper to us quietly, but powerfully. You're not good enough. You can't do this. People like you never succeed. Stay where you are. It's safer. And without even realizing it, we begin to obey those whispers. We stop reaching higher, we stop dreaming bigger, and we settle for a version of life that is far smaller than what was meant for us. But here's the truth: those beliefs are not reality. They are just thoughts. Thoughts that were planted in your mind through past experiences, through the opinions of others, or through your own fears. And because you've repeated them so often, they feel like facts. Yet they are nothing more than illusions. The moment you recognize them as such, their power begins to break. Think back to your childhood. At that time, you didn't worry whether people thought you were smart enough or talented enough. You simply believed you could. You tried, you failed, you got up, and you tried again. But somewhere along the way, someone's harsh words, someone's criticism, or even your own fear began to build walls around your potential. Those walls became your limiting beliefs, and now, instead of climbing over them, many people just live trapped inside, never realizing that the walls were made of paper all along. One of the most dangerous beliefs is the thought that things will never change. When a person accepts that they give up their greatest gift, the ability to grow and to transform, life is not fixed. You are not fixed. Every day you wake up, you have the chance to rewrite your story. But as long as you allow limiting beliefs to chain you down, you'll never reach for that pen to start rewriting. Let me remind you of something. Greatness was never reserved for a special group of people. Every single person has within them seeds of potential, but limiting beliefs are like weeds that choke those seeds before they grow. If you keep telling yourself, "I can't," then you won't. If you keep saying, "I'm not worthy," then you'll act in ways that prove yourself right. But the moment you decide to flip that script, the weeds begin to wither, and your true potential begins to rise. The way to break free starts with awareness. Start noticing the beliefs you repeat in your mind. Every time you catch yourself saying, "I can't," pause and ask, is that really true, or is it just a belief I've carried for too long? Every time you think, "I'll fail," ask yourself, "But what if I succeed?" Slowly, you begin to weaken the grip of those chains. And here's the beautiful part. The more you act in spite of your limiting beliefs, the more they dissolve. When you take that step forward despite the fear, your mind realizes that the belief was never true. Fear only has power when you stand still. The moment you move, fear begins to shrink. So don't let the stories of the past, the opinions of others, or the lies you've told yourself decide the size of your life. Those chains don't belong on you. You were created with far too much purpose to remain trapped. Break free, and you'll see that the only limits that ever existed were the ones you accepted. And once those chains fall, your reality will never look the same again. There is a power inside you that most people go through life never truly recognizing. It's not outside, it's not in material possessions, and it's not in the approval of others. It is the quiet, steady awareness within your own mind and heart. This inner awareness is like a lamp. It has always been there, but for many, it remains covered, dimmed by noise, distractions, and negative thoughts. The moment you uncover it, you realize you've been carrying the light you were searching for all along. Think about it. How often do we live on autopilot? We wake up, rush through the day, react to situations, and go to bed without ever pausing to notice what's happening inside. And then we wonder why life feels heavy, why we feel disconnected, why we can't seem to find peace. The reason is simple. When you're disconnected from your inner awareness, you're like a traveler wandering without a map. You may keep moving, but you're not truly going anywhere. Unlocking inner awareness begins with stillness. When you pause, when you breathe, when you sit quietly, even if just for a few minutes, you begin to hear the whispers of your own soul. You start to notice the thoughts that control you. You realize the patterns that keep repeating in your life. You recognize the emotions you've been ignoring. And that awareness is powerful, because you cannot change what you cannot see. Awareness is like a mirror. It doesn't judge you, it simply shows you the truth. And when you have the courage to look into that mirror, you see not just your struggles but also your strengths. You begin to understand why you react the way you do, why you've held on to pain, why you've allowed certain fears to dominate you. And with that understanding comes the power to choose differently. Most people underestimate this. They think transformation comes from something big and external, but the greatest shifts happen internally, when a person becomes fully aware. For example, if you've always believed that you're not capable, awareness helps you see where that belief started. Maybe from a teacher's words, maybe from a failure, maybe from comparison. And once you see its origin, you realize it's not your truth, it's just a story you accepted. That moment of awareness is like unlocking a door. The more you cultivate inner awareness, the more life begins to change. Challenges don't disappear, but you see them differently. Instead of reacting in fear, you respond with clarity. Instead of running from discomfort, you understand what it's teaching you. Instead of being controlled by emotions, you learn to observe them, to guide them, to use them as signals instead of prisons. And here's the most profound part: inner awareness connects you to a higher wisdom. When you silence the noise and look inward, you start to hear guidance that isn't clouded by ego or fear. You feel a sense of alignment, as if life is not happening against you but through you. That awareness gives you strength in struggles, patience in waiting, and courage in uncertainty. Some people spend their whole lives searching for answers outside, chasing after people, possessions, and achievements, thinking they will finally feel complete. But the truth is, the deepest answers have always been inside. You were created with an inner compass, and awareness is what activates it. Without it, even success feels empty. With it, even struggle feels meaningful. So don't underestimate the power that is already within you. Don't keep living unaware, disconnected, and distracted. Take moments to pause, to reflect, to notice. Unlock that awareness, and you'll discover that the secret you were searching for was never hidden from you. It was hidden inside you. And once you awaken to that awareness, your reality will never be the same again. One of the greatest secrets hidden inside the mind is that true peace comes when you live in alignment with who you really are. Too many people wear masks every single day. They pretend to be someone they are not, just to gain acceptance, approval, or love from others. And while the world may applaud them for a while, deep down inside, they feel the heaviness of living a life that doesn't belong to them. That's why so many people succeed outwardly, but remain restless inwardly. Because success without alignment is emptiness. Living aligned with your true self begins with honesty. You must ask yourself, who am I really? What do I truly value? What kind of life do I actually want to live? These questions may sound simple, but they are some of the hardest ones we ever face. Because answering them means you have to confront your fears, your conditioning, and even your insecurities. It means you have to admit when you've been living for the world's expectations rather than your own truth. And yet, the moment you step into alignment, everything begins to change. It's like carrying a heavy load your whole life and finally putting it down. You feel lighter, freer, more alive. You no longer waste energy pretending, competing, or hiding. Instead, you direct that energy into living with purpose and authenticity. Think about how powerful this is. When you're aligned, your words and your actions match. Your inner world and your outer world reflect each other. You don't have to fake kindness, because it flows naturally from who you are. You don't have to chase validation, because you already know your worth. And you don't have to fear rejection, because you understand that not everyone has to accept you for you to be complete. But alignment doesn't mean life becomes easy. In fact, sometimes living your truth will cost you. People may not understand you. Some may even walk away. Opportunities that looked attractive may no longer fit your path. But remember this: losing what isn't meant for you is not loss. It's liberation. Because when you let go of what doesn't align, you create space for what truly belongs to you. Living aligned with your true self also gives you resilience. When struggles come, you face them with strength, because you're not fighting against yourself anymore. So many people feel exhausted in life, not because of the weight they carry, but because of the resistance inside. They're constantly at war with themselves, saying one thing, doing another, feeling one way, living another. That inner conflict drains more energy than any external struggle. Alignment removes that war. It brings peace within, and that peace becomes your greatest source of strength. And here is something even deeper. When you live authentically, you inspire others to do the same. People may admire your success, but they connect with your truth. They may applaud your achievements, but they are transformed by your honesty. By living aligned with your true self, you give others permission to do the same. Your life becomes a mirror that reflects courage, authenticity, and freedom. So ask yourself today, are you living your life, or are you living the script someone else wrote for you? Are you being guided by your inner compass, or are you being controlled by external noise? Every day you have a choice, to wear the mask or to walk in truth. And the reality is, the mask may win you followers, but only truth will give you fulfillment. Living aligned with your true self is not just a choice. It is the secret to lasting peace, strength, and joy. And when you unlock that, you realize you were never created to be a copy. You were created to be you. And there is nothing more powerful than a person who has the courage to live in full alignment with who they truly are. My brothers and sisters, throughout this journey we've discovered something profound. That the greatest treasure in life is not found in the world outside of you, but in the secret hidden within your own mind. We spoke about awareness, about the power of belief, about unlocking potential, and about the beauty of living in alignment with your true self. And if you really reflect, you'll realize all of these truths are connected. Awareness opens your eyes, belief fuels your steps, potential gives you wings, and alignment keeps you steady on the path. When you bring them all together, you stop merely surviving life, you begin to live it with purpose, with meaning, with strength. But let me tell you something even deeper. The mind is not just a tool, it is a gift. It can either imprison you or it can liberate you. It can drown you in doubts or it can lift you into courage. And the choice of which one it becomes, that choice lies with you. No one else can take control of your mind unless you hand it over. No one else can silence your inner voice unless you allow them to. The secret was never outside. It was always within. So the next time you face fear, remember, the secret is in your mind. The next time you doubt yourself, remember the secret is in your mind. The next time the world tells you that you can't, remember, the secret is in your mind. Do not leave here today thinking these words were just inspiration. Carry them as a reminder. Live them as a decision. And when the struggles come, and they will, you will stand tall, because you have unlocked something most people will never touch, the secret hidden inside your mind. And once you discover that secret, nothing, and no one, can ever stop you again.